Top 10 Most Dangerous Terrorist in the World. 6. Abu Muhammad al-Jawlani. While Belmokhtar might have been on the fringes of a most dangerous terrorist list a year ago, Abu Muhammad al-Jawlani would not have been anywhere near it. But as Syria has descended into a state of civil war, al-Jawlani's group, the Al-Nusra Front, has emerged as one of the most effective rebel factions. Formed in January 2012, it is a jihadist group with perhaps 10,000 fighters, many of them battle-hardened in Iraq. It has specialized in suicide bombings and night attacks against regime forces, and its success has attracted hundreds of fighters from other rebel groups. A growing proportion of our casework now has some link to Syria. Al-Nusra and other extremist Sunni groups there aligned with al-Qaeda aspire to attack Western countries. Sources tell us that his face is always covered in meetings, even with other leaders. Al-Jawlani is thought to be a Syrian jihadist with suspected close ties to Abu Musab al-Zarqawi and al-Qaeda in Iraq. Al-Zarqawi was killed in a U.S. missile in 2006. 7. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the leader of the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, ISIS, was publicly at odds with al-Jawlani over the regional pecking order earlier this year, asserting that al-Nusra was part of his group, a claim swiftly rejected by al-Jawlani. Western intelligence would like nothing more than dissent between these two groups. Close cooperation between them across the long Syrian-Iraqi border, the goal of al-Zawahiri, is the nightmare scenario. Inside Iraq, al-Baghdadi has overseen a dramatic spike in terror attacks against the Shia-dominated state and security apparatus, aided by jailbreaks and bank robberies. It has also claimed devastating bomb attacks against Shia civilians and is open about carrying out attacks on purely sectarian grounds. It claimed credit for a wave of car bombings in Baghdad on September 30, in which more than 50 people were killed, calling it a new page in the series of destructive blows against Shiite areas in Iraq. Born in Samarra, al-Baghdadi is in his early 40s. In a eulogy for bin Laden, he threatened violent retribution for his killing. Analysts regard ISIS as a greater threat now than at any time since the U.S. surge in the emergence of the Sunni Awakening Council 6 years ago, which then turned the tide against al-Qaeda in Iraq. Reward offered by U.S. government, which lists him as Abu Du'a, up to $10 million for information leading to his location. 8. Sirajuddin Haqqani. Shifting from the Middle East to the Afghan-Pakistan border regions, several groups are positioning themselves for the exit of U.S. combat forces from Afghanistan next year. Among the most dangerous is the Haqqani network, responsible for some of the deadly attacks in Kabul in recent years. A 2008 coordinated suicide bomb attack on the Serena Hotel in Kabul left 6 dead. Another strike in June 2011 killed 12 at the Intercontinental Hotel. Siraj is a brutal criminal murderer. Gen. Jeffrey Schleiser, the outgoing commander of the U.S. 101st Airborne Division in eastern Afghanistan, told the publication Janes in 2009. The family belongs to the Zadran tribe, which spans the Afghanistan-Pakistan border and stretches to Khost province. The Haqqanis have a close relationship with both al-Qaeda and the Taliban, but are also thought to have begun recruiting Chechen and Turkish jihadists. 9. Abu Bakr Shekau. Shekau's inclusion recognizes the growing tide of Islamist militancy in West Africa. Its main focus remains churches and other Christian targets, the police and the moderate Muslim establishment in northern Nigeria. In 2010, Shekau warned that the group would attack Western interests, and the following year it carried out its first suicide bombing, against UN office in the capital, Abuja, killing at least 23 people. The group has also kidnapped and killed several Western hostages. While Boko Haram is not an affiliate of al-Qaeda, Shekau has made clear his sympathy for the group's goals. The United States made him a specially designated global terrorist in June 2012. John Campbell, a former U.S. ambassador to Nigeria, wrote that so far Boko Haram has shown little interest in the world outside of Nigeria and the Sahel. But the situation in Nigeria is dynamic, and it is possible that closer ties will develop between al-Qaeda and elements of Boko Haram. Boko Haram means Western education is forbidden and reflects the group's utter rejection of modernity and Western influences. Hostile to democracy, modern science, and Western education as non-Islamic, it is highly diffuse. For some adherents, religious, even apocalyptic, themes appear to be paramount. Reward offered by the U.S. government, up to $7 million for his location. 10. Doku Umarov. Doku Umarov leads the Caucasus Emirate, CE, a Chechen group dedicated to bringing Islamic rule to much of southern Russia. The U.S. State Department named Umarov a specially designated global terrorist in 2010, and said subsequently he was encouraging followers to commit violent acts against CE's declared enemies, which include the United States as well as Israel, Russia, and the United Kingdom. In January 2011, it bombed Moscow's Domodedovo airport, killing 36 people, and suicide bombings of Moscow subway stations in 2010 killed 40 people. Umarov was born in southern Chechnya in 1964, according to Chechen websites, and describes his family as part of the intelligentsia. He came of age as the separatist campaign against Russian rule began to take root and joined the insurgency when then-Russian leader Boris Yeltsin sent troops into the region in 1994. In a proclamation published on a Chechen jihadist website in 2007, he declared, "It was my destiny to lead the jihad. I will lead an organized jihad according to the understanding given to me by Allah." Reward offered by the U.S. government for information on his location, up to $5 million.